When you protect keys in Azure, you're really choosing among three models: a shared service, a managed HSM cluster, or a fully dedicated HSM appliance. In this module, we'll compare control, isolation, and compliance across those options, so you can confidently map each one to the right workload. You already understand the foundations: what HSMs are, why they're trusted, and how cryptography and key lifecycles work. You've also seen how Azure Identity, access, networking, and monitoring wrap around your keys. Now we'll turn that foundation into concrete Azure HSM service choices and real-world architectures. Think of Azure Key Management as a spectrum. At one end, Key Vault is the simplest, most general-purpose option for secrets and keys. Key Vault Premium adds HSM protection, but it still behaves like the same familiar service. Managed HSM then moves you into a dedicated HSM pool with stronger isolation and tighter control over key operations. At the far end, Dedicated HSM effectively rents you physical HSM appliances, giving maximum customer control and compliance assurance. Azure Key Vault acts like a central safety deposit box for application secrets. It stores passwords, connection strings, and tokens as secrets, so you never hardcode them. It also manages cryptographic keys for encryption, signing, and key wrapping, plus full certificate lifecycles. Applications, virtual machines, databases, storage accounts, and DevOps pipelines all pull what they need through controlled, audited access, often using managed identities instead of long-lived credentials. Within Key Vault, the main choice is how keys are protected, in software or by HSMs. Standard is ideal for most workloads that need secrets, certificates, and software-protected keys, with low operational complexity and cost. Premium adds hardware security modules, giving stronger isolation and higher assurance for keys. Because the management model and APIs stay the same, you can start with Standard and move to Premium when compliance or risk requirements demand HSM-backed protection. Most real-world integrations follow a straightforward flow. First, your application authenticates using a managed identity, so no passwords are stored. Microsoft Entra ID issues a token, which the app uses to call Key Vault. From there, it can read secrets, use keys for encryption, or sign data through crypto APIs. Azure services like storage or databases can also use keys from Key Vault, and DevOps pipelines read secrets without ever inlining them into scripts or configurations. Let's ground this with three everyday scenarios. In one case, a web app needs database passwords and API tokens. Instead of hard coding them, it pulls secrets from Key Vault at runtime, reducing leakage risk. In another, your sites need TLS certificates. Key Vault stores, rotates, and can even auto-renew them, helping teams avoid outages and manual updates. In a third scenario, you use customer-managed keys. You generate and store encryption keys in Key Vault, while Azure services like storage or SQL use them for at-rest encryption. Azure Key Vault Managed HSM gives you a dedicated single-tenant pool of hardware security modules that Microsoft operates for you. It's built on FIPS 14-2 Level 3 validated hardware, so your most sensitive keys never leave certified HSMs. You use it for key generation, import, signing, wrapping, and unwrapping, while applications call it over secure APIs. Choose Managed HSM when you need stronger isolation than the shared Key Vault model, especially for high-assurance enterprise workloads. Managed HSM introduces a local RBAC model, so key access is controlled independently of general Azure administration. Resource admins can provision the HSM, but only HSM roles decide who can create, use, or approve keys. Key managers define policies, crypto users run operations, auditors review activity, and HSM admins handle maintenance without seeing key material. All access is tied back to Microsoft Entra identities, giving strong, auditable separation of duties. Consider a large bank running payment systems in Azure. They must prove to regulators that encryption keys never leave certified hardware, and that operations staff can't misuse those keys. Managed HSM lets them centralize keys for multiple applications, use them directly for signing and encryption, and integrate with Azure services. They gain strong tenant isolation, strict admin separation with role-based access, detailed audit logs, and HSM-grade protection, without the overhead of managing the hardware themselves. Azure Dedicated HSM gives you a physical Thales Luna device that lives in an Azure data center, but behaves as if it's your own appliance. You own the administrative keys, the partitions, and the firmware policies. Your apps talk directly to the HSM using familiar libraries, like PKCS number 11, JCE, or CNG, which is ideal for legacy or specialized integrations. This model targets strict compliance environments and scenarios that demand maximum control over cryptographic operations. Dedicated HSM offers maximum control, but now you're running a security appliance, not just consuming a cloud API. You own HSM administration, user management, partitions, policies, and client configuration. You design backups, disaster recovery, and high availability, and you define lifecycle processes and runbooks. Your applications may require HSM client software, specific network paths, and dedicated operational monitoring. Microsoft keeps the hardware online, but device behavior and resilience become your responsibility. These options form a continuum. Azure Key Vault is shared, highly integrated, and simplest to run, but you trade away some isolation and direct control. Managed HSM gives you a single-tenant HSM with FIPS-compliant boundaries, while Microsoft still handles the underlying infrastructure. Dedicated HSM is a physical appliance just for you, with maximum control and isolation, and you own patching, scaling, monitoring, and much of the audit evidence. You can also think of this as a ladder of requirements. If you mainly need to store secrets, keys, and certificates with tight Azure integration, standard Key Vault is usually enough. If your security or compliance teams insist on hardware-backed keys, move up to Key Vault Premium or Managed HSM. If they also require single-tenant isolation and strict lifecycle control, Managed HSM is the better fit. Only when you need direct appliance control or niche compliance certifications do you move all the way to Dedicated HSM. Stepping back, here's the big picture. Azure Key Vault focuses on integration and ease of use for secrets and keys. Managed HSM adds strong isolation with a fully managed single-tenant HSM. Dedicated HSM delivers maximum control with physical appliances. Next, we'll turn this comparison into a practical decision framework and walk through real architecture patterns.